Change the page. Last bowl game to cover, UCLA, Boise State. Jake, the under the radar Boise State fan, and a UCLA team that's without a quarterback. What kind of game are we going to get? JP, take us through it.
Yeah, this is another one where you're kind of looking at UCLA after we just talked about the Cal team that beat them pretty handily on week 14, final regular season game. Now you look at Boise State on the flip side, they get the guy that they really wanted to hire. They hire from within. They're happy with that. Everybody really got up for that Mountain West title game and played well. But now Taylor Green hit the portal, and now he's an Arkansas Razorback, right? So where are they going to go? The Madsen kid's been all right in Green's absence and when he's gotten snaps. You look at UCLA, and they've played, 3 different quarterbacks? There's no Dante Moore. He's in the portal. You're going to have to play Garbers or Schlee. If I'm being honest with you, neither one of those guys really impresses me. And Boise State, I think, kind of had this, start to the year where you didn't expect them to win great games because they were playing Washington, another tough competition. UCF beat them early, and then they kind of came back up and then back down. And then I think they're back on the upswing here. It's been a roller coaster year. To basically shorten that whole word sludge up right there. It's been a roller coaster year for Boise State, but anytime a team like this gets a chance to play a Pac-12 team or play a Power 5 team, I think they're licking their chops. And so I'm going to go Boise State here. I think plus the number is smart, but I think they win this one outright. This is still a UCLA team that can play really good defense. How bought in are you, though? When you go get pumped like that by Cal, who's terrible defensively, and put up 7, and then you go up 33 to them. And I know Cal scored points on people this year, but that's your bread and butter if you're Chip Kelly this year is with the defense, and now they haven't been doing it. So whether, Taylor Green or no Taylor Green, as we said, he's gone. I think Boise State's a team to take here, just based on what I'm seeing from the coaching staff, the vibe I get from the players, and the situation that calls for it. So I'll take Boise State here.
JP on the Broncos. Let's go down to Reese. Reese, who you got in this one?
That's a good point, JP. I think UCLA's defense is pretty solid. They did lose their DC, though. I mean, I think Danton Lynn's his name. I believe they did lose Danton Lynn. He did go to USC. So I think you lose that aspect of it as well, too. Had to come a little closer there.
Yeah, you have to remind the kid he's sat
my
back.
Bad.
His mic,
my bad.
his mic didn't move with him.
Hey, lean with it. Rock with it. Lean with it. Whatever. But I think it's a spot, too. I think it's a spot where Boise State, you lose your quarterback, guy goes in the portal. Don't really know what's going on there. But you have your new head coach, and you're playing a little bit better. I'll take the Broncos in this spot too. I think plus the points is a good spot just because you don't really know what UCLA is going to be like. You don't know who the quarterback's going to be. Still got their weapons, but they got to find who their guy is going to be. So,
all right, there's another one. Jake, who you got in the LA Bowl? By the way, I noticed we didn't list any sponsors on these. Is this still the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl? You guys remember that?
I believe it's something else. It's not that one anymore, though.
Yeah, Jimmy, get the hell out of here. All right, Jake, give us a pick.
Yeah, when you look at this game, it's definitely a game of like who actually wants to be there. UCLA, you're playing in town. Are you just going to be screwing off all week and not having a good time? Or you have Boise, who's having an awesome vacation going from Boise, Idaho to LA. Maybe they're having a little bit too much fun. I don't think the quarterbacks are really going to be that big of a difference in this game because Garbers is not very good. And Taylor Green's been average all year, even though he's gone. So I look at the running backs, and you look at Ashton Jeanty and George Alani for a 1-2 punch at Boise, who's been really good. And it's said that Carson Steele has not been practicing this week for UCLA. So something to keep in mind. I think Boise wants it more for sure. And I think they could win this outright. No question.
I hate to be this guy, but just piggybacking off of your point, not only that, but what does this mean for recruiting purposes for these teams? If you're UCLA, you're playing at home. I'd love to give you a home field advantage. Just kidding. Nobody comes to your games anyway. It doesn't matter how close the stadium is, how far away it is. No one's going. Then you have Boise, a team where beating UCLA, whether or not it's in the LA Bowl, means something for recruiting, for just the general feeling of the school. So I like Boise in the spot just because it means more to them. You have a team to beat a now Big Ten UCLA team. It just means more for Boise. And it's a team that if I'm cheering for Boise. If I'm a fan, you want Boise to win this game, right? I mean, unless you're a UCLA fan, you'd be like, all right, I'd rather see them be good again because they're a part of the series and just one of those 5 teams. Jake, you got something?
Well, I was just going to say, I know it has nothing to do with this year's game, but look at the LA Bowl last year. And it was, I don't know if you guys remember, it was Oregon State versus Florida. And Florida was on. Everybody was opting out. They had no business in wanting to be there. And Oregon State came out and just whooped them. I think that was Am I correct on that? That was the LA Bowl, wasn't it? Or am I
think so.
mistaking that one?
I'm not going to remember the name of the bowl game, probably not, but I can remember the game.
That game. Now I have to look it up because I feel like
It could have been. I mean, look up Jimmy Kimmel. He's probably there. Jimmy Kimmel, LA Bowl. What are the other sponsors? Why Jake finds that? I mean, the Independence Bowl, New Mexico
There is
Bowl.
a avocados from Mexico.
Is there
from
actually? Is it
Mexico?
avocados from
Yep.
New Mexico Bowl?
I'm pretty sure it's avocados.
That
from
would
New
be
Mexico Bowl.
electric.
I can't
Avocados
remember
from
which one's
Mexico.
which. but
Everybody
yeah.
knows that.
I didn't put the sponsors in there
Classic.
because they're not sponsors of us, so they don't get it.
Labelardos.
That's right. Yeah, that's true. They're not, except for I put one. I mean, we have two of them in our little quips underneath our name. I shouted out Scooter's Coffee, which will break down that game.
It's not the avocados from New Mexico Bowl. It's
Damn, that'd be
avocados
electric.
from Mexico Cure Bowl.
Okay.
Is Leta New Mexico Bowl? I don't know what Isleta is. And then this one is
Sounds like milk.
what we're talking
Okay.
about is Starco
Okay.
Brands.
I got your answer. Two
Whatever that is.
different things. So the LA Bowl last year, this will tell the tale for this year if you're looking to bet something. Fresno State whooped Washington State 29-6. So I was wrong there. It was the Las Vegas Bowl that Oregon State whooped on Florida. But I think
two
both
different
of those,
losses, man.
two different losses, but I think both of those had it factors of wanting to be there. You had an Oregon State team who wanted to whoop on Florida and want to be at that Las Vegas Bowl. And hey, the Mountain West team whooped on the Pac-12 team last year. So I think they're kind of setting up
Here we
the
go,
Pac-12
fellas.
for failure this year.
Very good. Way to support our claims with a late addition.